Welcome everyone to our 9th Virtual South Summit. And today it's all about Africa. So joining me today, I have Maria Benjumea, the co-founder of South Summit. Maria.
Hello, Paris, how are you? And hello everybody. Hello Africa. Hello this incredible jury we have just at our back. And hello the great startups they are going to pitch today. But you know, Paris,
Why Africa, Maria? Why Africa?
Why Africa? Because you know, Africa, Paris is the last frontier for investors. The investors nowadays, they are absolutely exciting with the startups from Africa. It's incredible how the old ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in Africa is developing. And I want to tell you another thing. You know that we are still open with our context for South Summit in October. And the different countries in Africa, or the big region in Africa, is one of the big regions, just we have startups from there. So we really are absolutely happy because I love Africa and I'm looking forward to hearing of our lovely startups that they are going to pitch today. But before, I have to tell you, where are we now? We are in the war room, i.e. University War Room. And this is an incredible space. Since the very beginning, since we started with our Virtual South Summit last April, when we were absolutely in the pandemic, we started here and everybody said, wow, like today, the startups from Africa. So Paris, I don't want to waste any more sec. Now we need to listen to you and to listen to Africa.
Thank you, Maria. Okay. So as you heard from Maria, this is the last frontier for investors. And we have an amazing lineup of investors here today with, as Maria also said, some great startups. But before we begin, I'm going to make a couple of introductions because, as you know, our partner in crime is IE University. And IE is very present in Africa. And to tell us exactly how present, I have two amazing guests and some of my two favorite ladies from IE University. We're going to start with Sabine Yazbek. Sabine is originally from Lebanon, and she is the head of Middle East and Africa at IE University. Welcome, Sabine.
Hello, Paris, and good to see everyone. I'm very excited to be here today for the second edition of the Virtual South Summit Africa. So much is happening on this vibrant continent, and today we will have a glimpse of what the ecosystem offers. And as you know, IE is one of the most diverse higher education institutions in the world. And with our network of 30 offices around the world, we managed to bring the entire world to Spain. Two of those offices in the network are in Africa, in Johannesburg and Lagos, and both of them are major African cities. And of course, it is inevitable to talk about Africa when talking about diversity, and this is why IE has put Africa at the core 12 years ago. And since then, we have visited half of the African countries. Coming to IE will actually expose you to the whole of Africa, as since we receive on campus more than 100 African students every year from 30 African countries sharing knowledge, culture, skills with the rest of the students. The IE Africa Club itself is one of the most active student clubs on campus, running a yearly conference with Pan-African experts. And actually, in just 8 days from now, they'll be celebrating their 10th annual Africa Conference. Our mission is to facilitate education for Africans wanting to boost their knowledge and skill set, but also to build a local network they will join post-graduation to empower their work on the continent and be part of the transformation the continent is actually undergoing. The network that IE has built consists of leading corporations, a limitless entrepreneurial ecosystem, and a growing alumni network, which is IE's strongest assets. Throughout these years, I've witnessed so much talent, and I always say that, and I feel I repeat myself, but I've witnessed so much talent, so much resilience, and so much creativity from the continent. So I'm sure today's pitches will be a reflection of this. And actually, as you mentioned, we have today with us Felicia Appenteng, who's the chair of the IE Africa Center. And just 2 years ago, IE has shown its commitment to Africa, and took it one step further with the creation of this, outstanding center. And Felicia will share with us the pillars, the vision, and everything that is going on that end. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sabine. So as you heard, now we have Felicia Appentang, who is the head of the IE Africa Center. Welcome, Felicia.
Harrison, thank you so much. And it just is a treat for me to be here surrounded by, friends and colleagues. So yes, I'm the chair of the IE Africa Center. At the center, our mission is to shine a light on African solutions to global challenges. And for us, it's really exciting and meaningful to see those solutions in all places. So we want to see them in the classroom, we want to see them in conversations, and in custom programming. So over the past year, we actually have launched a number of really great projects, and we have some partners here today, so it's extra exciting. For us, the most meaningful way to really look at capturing cutting-edge African solutions is to bring them inside of the IE classroom. So we launched an academic accelerator called Gurus and Griots, whose mission is to capture innovations from Africans and from Afro-descendants, and then to integrate them into our classroom. And here today we have Tayo and David that are a part of our founding class. That's been quite wonderful for us. We like to tell global stories from an African perspective with our podcast series called Notes on a Continent. And we also really love to find African entrepreneurs that we think can spark systems change, which we work on in our Social Innovators retreat. And the reason that we do all of this is, one, because it's just really meaningful and great fun for all of us, certainly, but also because really for us, African innovation is key to global progress. And so that's why for all of us from the center, it just is a pleasure to be here today to hear from these wonderful entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, panelists, who are doing the kind of work that we like to see, partner with, learn, and grow from. So thank you so much to IE, to the South Summit, and I'll be here taking notes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Felicia. All right, moving right along. So before we begin with the startups, we have a fireside chat with EcoBank. And representing EcoBank is Jiba Diallo, the Senior FinTech Advisor. Let me tell you a little bit about Jiba. She is the Senior FinTech Advisor for EcoBank, leading the bank's FinTech initiatives and advising the senior management on the bank's FinTech strategy. She's a technology and innovation enthusiast with more than 15 years of experience in the ICT industry. She has a software developer background and is a graduate from Pierre and Marie Curie University with a specialization in industrial computing and embedded systems. She spent 11 years at Microsoft, where she was built a solid reputation in sales with experience in marketing, channel distribution, as well as developers and startup community management. Prior to joining EcoBank, she was part of the leadership of Microsoft for Africa initiative and implemented a strategic geo-coverage plan to identify and attract the most successful startups and optimize investments across Africa. So we could not ask for a more experienced expert when it comes to entrepreneurship in Africa. Hello, Jiba, how are you?
Hello, Paris. I'm very good. I hope you hear me well.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. It's good to see you again. So,
good to see you.
We're going to talk a little bit about your personal and professional journey, Jiba, first. Tell us about how you got to where you are today.
Well, actually, Paris, I think you said it all. You presented my background and my story. So as you said, my background is computer science. That's what I learned when I was at university in France. Then I had some experiences with some companies in France, specifically Alstom, who is producing automated train, for example. And then I joined Microsoft, where I spent 11 years working from supporting what we call the partner ecosystem of Microsoft. So basically companies that are reselling Microsoft technologies, and then moved to managing the developer ecosystem for all the West and Central Africa region, which represented 19 countries. And then I moved to the Microsoft for Africa initiative, which was basically how Microsoft was investing in Africa innovation space to foster new companies and accelerate their growth. So from there, what I've been doing within the Microsoft for Africa team, which was very exciting, was basically identifying the most promising startups in Africa, so all the continent, from Egypt to South Africa and from Senegal to Kenya. And once we identified them, what we've been doing was providing them technical support, so helping them access to resources, either from Microsoft or outside Microsoft. We also help them get more businesses by putting them in touch with some customers. And most importantly, we have also helped them raise funds. I think that's when startups in general hear about fundraising, that's very, very important for them. It's something that we acknowledge. So we helped them raise funds. And when I was at Microsoft, we moved from raising $5 million to $25 million to 10 startups within the Africa ecosystem. So how I get there, I'm just passionate about technology. I'm passionate about Africa. And it's always a pleasure to interact with all these young, very, very innovative people that are creating the future of the continent.
Okay. Jiba, you've been exposed, as you said, to so many different startups in Africa. What do you think has been the main trend, or what was that when you look at entrepreneurship in Africa and when it started, what were the startups that took off first? Was it, was it in the hospitality industry? Was it delivery? What were the areas that you think were the ones that really got Africa moving in terms of startups?
So that's an easy question, Paris. Actually, as you mentioned, my role at EcoBank is Senior FinTech Advisor. So my role is really to focus on FinTech and create partnership between the bank and FinTechs. So let me present quickly what EcoBank is. So a bank with presence in 33 countries across the continent and representation in Dubai, Paris, London, and in China. Because we have that wide presence in Africa, we saw very, very early what the FinTech trend was in the continent. So just a few numbers. Since actually when we started kind of benchmarking or seeing the big trend of investment in Africa, FinTech always represented between 25 to 30% of the overall investment that is happening in the continent. That is huge, really, really huge. It just shows how FinTech is important for the continent. I'm sure you probably hear about the story of M-Pesa in Kenya. When you get to the airport, they have a very big band saying, this is the country of M-Pesa. It's amazing to see how that innovative solution has completely changed the way people are living, the way they are working in that space of the continent. And we see that trend very, very heavily gaining some space in other region of the continent. So from West Africa to East Africa to Central Africa, the adoption of the financial inclusion through technology is really something that we see big. And that's why at EcoBank, we really wanted to invest in the space. We created this department, and we are working on several initiatives to make sure that FinTechs in the continent become our partners. So definitely FinTech represent the big part of the startup ecosystem in Africa.
Okay, yeah, it's amazing how FinTech has managed to give financial inclusion to so many people in Africa and continues to do that every day. And Kenya has become like a place of best practices for many developing countries in terms of what they've done. So, Jiba, all right, so moving beyond that, let's talk about COVID days, the new reality or whatever people want to call it. But the last 18 months, how's Africa dealt? How's the startup community, the ecosystem dealt with this pandemic?
Yes, so obviously, nowhere in the world, everybody was impacted by some way by this pandemic, unfortunately. I think for Africa, there are actually three main impacts that we saw for the ecosystem. The first one is on the activity space. So if you are a fintech, for example, or a startup in general, providing services for industries such as traveling, for example, or tourism or entertainment, obviously you will be impacted because those industries were impacted. So in terms of business revenue, we saw some drop, unfortunately, but also because Africa is the continent of resiliency, I think someone said that before me, we also saw people or entrepreneurs creating very innovative things to enable people to keep working and keep living despite the lockdown and despite all the moving issue that they were having in the country. So at the same time, we saw some drop in some industries, but we also saw some very innovative solutions that went out of in the market and really helping the continent and the citizens go through this very difficult time. The second impact was on the investment. So for the first time since 2015, we saw a drop. So from 2015, the overall investment represented $200 million. In 2019, it was $2 billion, just to show you the very big growth year over year. And in 2020, it went down to $1.4 billion, which is a 29% drop, unfortunately. But I still believe that the opportunity is there because despite the fact that the funding went down, we saw a bigger number of fintech and startups in general that got some investment from the investor world. So quite interesting. And the third one was on the threat, specifically for the fintech world, because we saw many innovative solutions going out into the market. Of course, we saw a lot of attacks, hackers, trying to leverage on this specific situation to unfortunately try to attack systems, specifically when we talk about systems where that are kind of enabling fund transfer or just fund movement from a country to another or place to another. So that's in a nutshell how startups have been impacted in Africa. Less activities for some of them. Thanks God, some other have been able to create innovative solutions to help countries and citizens go through the situation. But we saw the drop in terms of investment, but I'm very confident that in 2021, we'll get back to the very positive trend that we had.
Okay, Jiba, I think we have time for one more question. I know that, as you've said, fintech is definitely more than just a flavor of the month right now in Africa. It's been doing well for a long time. It'll continue to do so. But for those investors that are looking at other areas, from your days at Microsoft and maybe now what you see that's not directly related to fintechs, where do you think the opportunities are going to be in the next 5 years in Africa, apart from fintech?
I think there's something that needs to happen on the agriculture space because it represents a major industry in the continent and also a very big opportunity. We have lands and we have all the, let's say, environment that really is positive for agriculture to succeed. And we see many interesting startups creating solutions to improve the level of, just improve the way agricultural farmers are working, make them more productive, and also improve the way they live. So agriculture space is definitely something that we need to look into. Off-grid also, you probably know how difficult it can be for some population to get access to electricity, for example, or water. because of the event of financial integration with the mobile. You see now more and more companies that are enabling pay-as-you-go access to those utilities. And it's very, very interesting and innovative to see how they are impacting, especially rural populations. And the last one is probably on the blockchain space. So I know that my friend in Nigeria may not be very happy because recently the central bank is not very positive to that technology, but the adoption is there, actually. There's a huge interest in Africa around blockchain and all the innovations that are going through under that industry and on that space. So yes, I would probably have a focus on those two. So agriculture, off-grid, blockchain. But the beauty in Africa is that you never know what can happen. Because I recall in 2015, I was amazed when I saw a young Togolese that created a 3D printing machine by using electricity waste. And it was so innovative and so impressive that he got a visit from the NASA, for example. So definitely agriculture, off-grid, blockchain, but who knows? You never know.
Okay, Jiba, thank you so much. We're out of time, but I want to thank you for making the time today. I know you're very busy, and I think you've given everybody some great tips about where to invest in the coming years. So thank you again. And we hope to see you in another South Summit.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to start our startup competition. Let me tell you a little bit about how this is going to work. We have 5 startups. They're going to have a few minutes to present. The winner of today's competition is going to have a fast track to our South Summit in October, part of the 100 finalists there. So how are these startups going to be evaluated? Well, they're going to be evaluated on the basis of innovation, scalability, team, viability, and how investable they are as a startup. So let's begin. But before we begin, I need to give you an idea of the amazing jury that we have here today. We have Waiki Donker from Africa Tourism Partners. We have Tara Spalding from Boomstart Accelerator. We have Antonia Norman from Business Pros Global. We have Tosin Fanero Dada from Endeavor, Nigeria. We have Thomas Richter from Expert Dojo. We have Martin Kilu from Growth Africa. We have Zuena Farah from IDB. We have Wayne Berger from iShack Ventures. We have Abu Kasim from Josie Angels. We have Dan Souza from L Marks. We have Alberto Anton from Plug and Play. We have Alejandro Villanueva from Posible Mexico. We have Tayo Akinyemi from Query Insights. We have Petra Wolkenstein from Startup Wise Guys. We have Omar El Arabi from the DMZ at Ryerson University. And finally, we have David Harley from Third Way Capital. So we begin. We're going to begin with our first startup. Our first startup is called Division X. It is a building quality inspection using machine vision and deep learning technologies for helping enterprises to get tasks digitized and automated. From the country of Egypt, Samar Hamdi, the co-founder and CBO, will present Division X.
Hello, everybody. I'm Samar Hamdi. I'm a co-founder and CBO at Division X. If you want to build a website, you will go to WordPress, drag and drop some items, reconfiguration, and then your website is ready. This is the same concept of Tuba. Tuba is the WordPress of building AI, machine vision, or computer vision application for the manufacturing sector without experience needed and also without coding. Just label, train, and integrate. One of the applications of the AI machine vision in the manufacturing sector is the quality inspection process. So it can be done by using a machine vision system that consists of an industrial camera and AI software. The camera captures images for the product during its pass on the production line, and the software making analyzing for these images to will understand which is defected, which is not defected, what kind of defect, and based on this step, which is called processing, the system can take an action like stopping the machine or giving alarm. So how to build your own AI machine vision system using our tool Kitobo? Just label and train your data by using Kitobo, and then integrate the output with your smart hardware or in your software pipeline. So the data, you can feed Kitobo with the data that comes from the cameras that fix it on your production line, and then Kitobo making labeling and training, and then you can extract a trained model with features like classification, detection, or segmentation that's be ready to be integrated in your end solution, and that can be a machine vision system or a software, a computer vision software application. And also Kitobo is supporting both on cloud and also in premise. I'll go through some of the quality challenges examples that can be solved by using these technologies. For example, in the food and beverage, making an inspection for the gouging or the packaging defects, as you see, or making sorting for a product according to its color or the size. In another industry like automotive, making an inspection for the welding defects of some parts like piston, or making an inspection for the coating defects. We are selling Kitobo as a license or a subscription. What we need investment to validate the beta version that's ready now, and also to complete the development of our first version of Kitobo and growing our sales team. Also, we are seeking for different types or different kinds of partnerships, as you see in this screen. And this is a spot list of partnerships over hardware and software, and we are already connected to some of them. So Kitobo now is in the beta version. Request your beta version of Kitobo through our website, kitobo.ai. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Questions from the jury? Abu Qasim?
Hi, Summer. Thank you so much for your presentation. I've got a couple of questions and I'll be quick. So in terms of the vision of where this is going, is there some inclination towards IoT going forward? And so the second question, IoT to connect to the devices. And then the second question is, can you give us an indication of who the team is behind the business?
I wish I heard the first question, which is, do you mean that if it's related to IoT, that's right or not?
Yeah, so I get that there's a camera, and the camera is assessing the quality assurance of the items being manufactured. But at some point in the future, are you looking to connect the manufacturing devices to your system so that they can speak to one another through IoT? And then the team, if you can just give us an indication of the team behind the business.
Okay, for the first question, which is, by the way, the tool, it's called Kitobo. This is a software which says it's a SaaS, by the way. So you are able to train, label your data and extract a trained model that's be ready to integrate in some application like a machine vision system. So it's not mainly IoT. We are only dealing with the kinds of data, that images that may come from the cameras on the production lines, or if you want to build a computer vision application and you have data images like defects from samples, something like this. In the future, maybe we can yet think about the numerical data or another type of data. So we can also deal in the kind of IoT data that comes from sensors or devices or something like this. But I can say that both of what we are doing and the IoT is under the umbrella of the smart manufacturer, or under the umbrella of Industry 4.0. The second one about the team, actually we have a good journey in building a machine vision system for the manufacturing, starting from classic machine vision and then applying by AI. But after a long time, about 2 or 3 years, we found that the customization model is not supporting our goals in sustainability and scalability. That's why we have now our new solution, which is called Kitobo. Our team, I'm a CBO, and we are 8, but 8 as an employee, by the way, full time. We are 2 founders, and we have a good experience in applying AI and machine vision, and also we have a good experience in marketing and business development for the tech enterprises, even if we are all engineers.
All right, thank you. We've got time for one more question. David Harley.
Hi, good presentation. Thanks very much. I'm trying to understand, so you have 5 other competitors. Can you give a sense of how, because you haven't really gone to market yet, you're still in development. Are they already in market? Are they ahead of you? And also, what to you stands out as your differentiator?
Okay, the first thing about our cities now we are in beta version actually, and we start onboarding clients to use Tuba. In beta version, which means that you as a client, you can use it, you can train and label your data and extract already a training model to be integrated in your solution. And we already started that with some clients, but you know that it's now very limited, so we have to interview with the client first to get the feedback and to check the case, especially that you know also that it's very cost for us to train on the servers, the training process and so on. Another thing about the competition, if we are talking about specialization for the manufacturing sector, yes, we have competitors, and some of them we already start to build partnerships with them to decrease the competition. Let's say that one of the competitors is called Solab Cognex. I know the most of you are knowing already Cognex. They are building production lines for many different industries. But Solab was a startup in Korea, and it was acquired by Cognex in September 2019. We hope that we have the same route, by the way. The differentiation is that we are trying to build a no-code AutoML tool that can be used by the quality engineers or the production engineers that are expert in their fields. We are trying to enable them or put the power of artificial intelligence and advanced technology in the hands of the unexpert people of AI, so they can solve their daily challenges by using AI and machine vision without coding and also without experience needed. That's why our tool can be used by the developer and non-developer. Also, there is another category of the competitors like H2O. This is open source, so you have to be a developer and know well what's AI to produce your solution. Another competitor like Blora is they are mainly producing hardware, and also they have a software that's close to their hardware, and actually we go in deep with the negotiation to build a partnership with them to integrate their hardware with our software. So we are a software company, and we are trying to integrate with as much as we can with the hardware providers, camera producers like Flare. They have already a deep learning enabled cameras and smart cameras, and also like Plura to decrease the competition and also to complete the cycle of the whole solution for the end user.
All right, thank you very much, Samar. Okay, moving right along. Run out of time, so unfortunately we don't have any more time for questions. Our next startup is from Nigeria. It's called Gradely. Gradely is a personalized learning platform that empowers educators and parents to make a difference in their wards' learning outcomes and produces more globally competitive learners. From Nigeria, Boye Ishinaga, the co-founder and CEO, is going to present. Join me in welcoming Gradely.
Hello, my name is Boye Ishinaga, and I'm CEO and co-founder at Gradely. Meet Boluwatife, a grade 6 student who has done 5 years of primary schooling, but still unable to read the sentence, "The name of the dog is Puppy," nor can she calculate 20 times 12. She is not alone. 9 out of every 10 students in Africa is in school but not learning, and this number is 6 out of 10 globally. Gradely is supporting schools and parents in personalizing learning resources for K-12 students in Africa to help them improve academically. How does it work? First, the child takes a diagnostic test or homework from school. On the back of this assessment result, the system generates video lessons and on-demand tutor sessions for the child to take, and then more practice to find out how much they've learned, and so on and so forth. And then the parent and the school are able to view real-time learning progress made by the child. For schools, we offer them a learning management system where they add students and they add classes and add teachers. And then the teachers can then engage their class via discussion, lessons, and live classes. And then they, especially and more importantly, they can create assessment using the question pool that we've given them and resources. And then based on the student performance, the teacher is able to remediate where there's gaps. We had beta over the course of 2020, and we launched officially in February 19, 2021. And since then, we've had a huge spike in growth. We're doing monthly revenues of $10,000 and over 11,000 students and 600 schools. We have raised over $250,000, and we've been mentioned in the press, including international press like CNN and BBC. Our business model is that for monthly content subscription, we charge $5 per student. And then for on-demand sessions, we charge $7 per hour. And on the school side, schools pay for an LMS subscription of $15 per year, and they could also subscribe their children to the content. The market for EdTech in Africa is 1.5 billion. And our competitors are caught between parent-focused, school-focused, local or foreign players. But our edge over all of them is that we are adaptive, we integrate to schoolwork, we leverage the teacher community for all the content that we create, and we generate network effects. We did $30,000 last year, and we're on track to do $500,000 this year. Our plan over the next 6 years is to grow to do about $5 million annually, and meet our special sauce, which is our team, which has a combined 27 years experience in EdTech. We've successfully run companies in the past, and all of us is our second time at running the company. Lastly, data is the building block of the future of African education, and Grayley is at the heart of generating just the right kind of data to generate the best outcomes in learning in our classrooms. Thank you.
All right, you heard it. EdTech is a $5 billion market in Africa. Okay, we got some questions here from the jury. Dan D'Souza.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great, thanks for your presentation. I have two quick questions. The first one is, how do you look at solidifying your competitive advantage? And could you elaborate more on the next step or scalability of the idea? Thank you.
So I didn't get the first question, sorry. How do you solidify your competitive advantage? So, okay, yeah. So great. So in Africa, our competitors are going the other way, and we're going the way we're going. And I think that not many companies in EdTech in Africa are emphasizing a lot on adaptivity and on that data of learning progress. And so how we want to consolidate that is to actually show that we're making an impact in the classroom and show what exactly is causing that. And so just really focus on the research on how much impact is really made. And once you kind of demonstrate it at scale that you're making huge impact, that becomes credibility in the parent community, in the educator community, in the general, the donor community, and all government community and all of that. And so we think that that's kind of how we're going about it. So we're kind of trying to get to a certain amount of scale to be able to say that this definitely works, period. And then we can go from country to country in terms of expansion. The second question, sorry, you can go back again.
Yeah, second question, scalability.
Yeah, so our plan for kind of being scalable. So when we launched, we did not launch a freemium product, and it was intentional, and we did not have a mobile app yet. So we kind of, consolidated all our learning in the beta period, but we also needed to still learn a little bit more. And now we kind of know exactly the kind of user activity that will lead to the type of content that we want and the kind of customers that we want. So essentially, we're going freemium in the new school session by August, and we're going to have a mobile app. And some of that experience is now more accessible for our market. So without a mobile app and a freemium strategy, we already have 10,000 users. We think that we can grow to about 1 million users by next year ending because of that strategy. And because we want to also fundraise and kind of do a seed to go after the market in Nigeria.
All right, thank you. We got a bunch of questions here, so let's see if we can move quickly. Next is Tayo Akinyemi.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I have a quick two-sided question. So one, could you talk about which revenue stream is driving your business, the school stream or the parent stream? And could you talk a little bit about your in-country expansion strategy, both from the perspective of geography and whether you're focusing on private or public schools? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Taya. So we're focusing on private schools. That's like kind of very easy to kind of get into. The government schools requires a long, elaborate process of trying to close the whole government. However, we have government credibility. The commissioner of the most important state in the country, Lagos State, was their keynote speaker at our launch event. So she kind of is encouraging our public schools to try it anyway, right? And many of them have done free trials with us. We're just figuring out who's going to pay for them. But on the private school side, there are about 100,000 private schools in Nigeria. And so that market is really ripe for the taking. And what we are the only solution that combines learning management with content resources in the way that we do. And now we're kind of integrating also backwards into like the school administrative functions. With that digital gateway, we essentially become the most compelling product in the market. And so our strategy to kind of aim and get that is that we want to focus on schools first and acquire schools. So our biggest revenue source today is the learning management system premium fee, right? So we're going to get schools first. You know, we want to get about 10,000 schools in the market, and then that automatically exposes us to parents and students and creates the credibility for us to can go after the parents one after the other. We know the cost of acquisition for parents and the one for school, and it's much, 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 much cheaper to get schools and then upsell parents from there.
All right, thank you. We got time for one more question. Alberto Anton.
Hello, thanks for the presentation. Actually, he just answered the question, so
okay.
That's
Thank you, Alberto. Kweki Donkor.
Thank you very much. I would like to know what your expansion strategy outside Nigeria is. And the second one is what levels, because you look at from kindergarten to grade 12, what level is your current main income stream as far as the grades are concerned? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll start from the second question. And essentially what we've seen is that the kind of parents that love a platform like Gradely are the ones that are very technology savvy, or at least some level of technology savviness. And so we see them on Instagram, they're tiger moms, they care about their children. So a lot of times it's between K to 9 that we get the most number of customers on the parent side. And so we think that that's kind of a place to focus on. In terms of expansion beyond Nigeria, we want to be the Netflix for education. And so content is kind of the key for how we kind of expand. So we want to be curriculum specific. Every country we go to, we want locals to be the ones to teach the children. And so to do that, we have to build teacher communities. And so we're kind of running that out right now in Nigeria and seeing how many questions can teachers create by themselves without our help, without us seeding the system. So what we are doing now is we have enough video lessons and enough questions and enough content to seed the market, but we expect that to kind of just grow by itself because teacher community is active. And so we do that in every country we go to across Africa and later on the world. So that's kind of our scalability strategy and expansion strategy.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. This next startup is called Green Lion, and they're from Ghana. Jorge Rojas, the CEO, is going to present Green Lion. What do? They are transforming communities across Africa by revolutionizing access to essential goods and services by connecting small shops to the digital economy. Join me in welcoming Green Lion.
This is Gloricia. She's the owner and operator of a small shop in Accra. She works in the informal retail market, where women represent 80% of the workforce. Like her, there are almost 10 million other shops in Africa that sell over $180 billion every year. Despite their importance to local economies, they all face the same issues because of the markets they operate in. Shop owners often have to close their shops to travel to central markets to purchase goods, making restocking costly and time-consuming. This inefficient system is opaque and full of middlemen, preventing and limiting communities access to the goods and services they need. But there is a way to support these small shop owners. GreenLion's distribution platform helps retailers obtain everything they need to thrive: quality products on demand, technology and real-time data, and access to credit and other previously unavailable services. GreenLion distribution focuses on last-mile delivery, adding value where the supply chain needs it the most. Using a simple phone, shop owners can place orders, and our agents will deliver within 24 hours. We manage this capillarity through the use of our own proprietary software that allows us to control our operations in real time and gain valuable data. Data is key to the day-to-day management of our business. We leverage on it to improve our logistics by making data-driven decisions. We have the location of all of our customers, and we are able to make predictions on what they'll order and optimize the load of our vehicles. All of this improves our efficiency and helps us provide a better service to our clients. We believe that a strong last-mile distribution combined with data are key to transforming the lives of the underserved. But this is just the beginning. Thanks to this data, we can offer clients tools and services they couldn't have access before, such as an affordable POS app to better manage their business, controlling stock and tracking sales, and also services such as microloans and microinsurance. But this is not just a story, but reality. This is Priscilla from Shop Trader Galore. Since we started working with her in February 2021, she has placed orders for a total value of 2,500 euros. She has started using Wiser, our POS app, to track the performance of her shop. And she was also selected for GreenLion's credit program, which she has used to grow orders by 200%. Today, Trader Galore can order inventory through her phone, get the goods delivered, and take advantage of credit terms without having to leave or close her shop. But hers is not an isolated case. We currently supply to more than 3,000 shops. In fact, our retail business is growing by 21% every month since its creation. All of this is only possible thanks to our team of more than 50 people working day and night to achieve this goal and help transform the informal retail market. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, questions from the jury. David Harley.
Hi, Jorge. So we've actually looked at companies like this with my firm, and one thing that has come up is the margins roughly around 3%. What are you seeing on your end, and if they're higher than that, how are you achieving that? Is it primarily through relationships with wholesalers, or if you can enlighten us, that'd be great.
So for us, I mean, the difference with us from the other competitors is that we import most of the products we distribute. So that makes our margins much higher. So we started our business in Ghana by importing and being at the top of the value chain. And at the end, we vertically integrated and we did our distribution. But our importation are the products that increase our margins substantially compared to buying locally. We also choose local suppliers that are normally above 10%. We're very focused on the drinks at the moment, and the margins are higher. So we take a lot into account now that we haven't raised any capital and we have grown rapidly. We cannot be at margins of 3%. So importation has helped in that sense. And also complementary services. We're trying to increment margins without incrementing the cost of operations by providing these microloans or these services such as an app that we have developed for the shop, meaning that it will increment margins without incrementing the cost of the structure.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Tosin Fanido Dada, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Great presentation. Honestly, I think there's a global battle for last mile delivery. It's a great presentation. But I have a quick question around how you're thinking about your microloans. Mm-hmm. It's always a complementary service to business like yours. But talk me through how you're thinking about it. Is it off balance sheet or on balance sheet? One. And two, how has it been so far in terms of collection and your non-performing loan rate?
Okay, so the microloans is a pilot project that we started only a few months ago. So we have started with around, a few percentage of our clients, and it's right now we don't have enough data to give you reliable information about the payments because it's a pilot project that we see a lot of potential, but we're being careful to how we do it because we don't want to have a lot of risk without raising any capital or without putting the necessary measures to do it well. So we're just testing and seeing how much they increment the sales. And also complementary services. We're trying to increment margins without incrementing the cost of operations by providing these microloans or these services such as an app that we have developed for the shop, meaning that it will increment margins without incrementing the cost of the structure. and how much they increments the purchases and how it would work. But at the moment, it's a small thing.
All right, we got time for one more question quickly. Wayne Berger.
Hi, yes, just a very good presentation. I just wanted to find out, is the company profitable? Are you at break even, or if not, what is your burn rate?
So we managed to have break even since the beginning. I mean, we've taken a lot of care of our costs and how we do things to be as cost effective as possible. So right now we are EBITDA positive. We're not having a lot of profit, but we're not burning cash. I mean.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Break even since the beginning. That's a first, isn't it? Yeah, I'd love to hear that. All right. Our fourth startup is called Kitobo. Kitobo is from Nigeria and is represented by Wachinemede Emeka, the CEO. So let me tell you what Kitobo does. Kitobo applies remote sensing and data science to provide farmers with personalized and precise inputs on soil and crop health insights, and also market insights. Join me in welcoming Kitobo.
Hi, my name is Wachinemede Emeka, and I'm the founder of Kitobo Technology Company. Several decades ago, Africans invented agriculture and taught the rest of the world how to farm, how to apply irrigation. However, several years later, the jury is out. The world has left Africa behind on several indices. Today, crop yields are very, very low. Africans produce at about a third of global yield averages. Linkages to commodity processors is also pretty very, very low. And as a result, post-harvest losses is one of the highest, with 40 to 60% of everything that is produced lost to post-harvest losses. We founded Kitobo to solve that problem. And it's a major problem of mismatch between the producers, the processors, and the inputs they seek to apply in the farms. How we do this is that we collect different kinds of data sets from farm to farmer data. We use remote sensing and data science, collect different kinds of data, analyze it to be able to tell the farmer the best kind of inputs to use, the soil and crop health challenges he needs to solve, and to link everything that he's producing to a commodity buyer. This has opened us to lots of opportunities in this space, where in Nigeria alone, there are about 64 million smallholder farmers. However, we are focused on the grain and cassava value chains at the moment, which opens up to about 500,000 smallholder farmers in Nigeria alone. The way we work is that we first start with collecting farmer data by linking up with farmers and farmer-based organizations, as well as our own agents. Then we collect farm field and market demand data, analyze that to provide optimal inputs for farmers' use. We then collect everything that the farmer has produced, ensuring that the farmer has 100% sales of his produce. As a result of our intervention, farmers are able to cut down input costs by 30%, increase their use by about 50%, and achieve 100% linkages to markets. We provide clear products that are innovative. Our fertilizer recommendation service, our plant health analysis, our water stress analysis ensures that farmers get the best out of their farms. We provide farm packs comprising seeds, fertilizers, and agrochemicals to farmers, as well as an input financing scheme called Farm Swap. To date, we've been able to train about 157 field agents who together we've been able to onboard and work with about 7,000 farmers, achieving a revenue to date of over 30 million naira. Our team is made up of 7 passionate young people with a combined experience of about 47 years. And together we are working to create a new future for African agriculture by transforming African agriculture one smallholder at a time. Join us as we achieve this vision. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Tara, the floor is yours. Tara, you're on mute, I think. Tara, I think you're on mute. Still on mute? No? Yeah, I just heard you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Mr. Mika, fantastic presentation. I'm really interested to hear about how are you attaining your customers and what is the longevity or the cost to acquire new farmers into your program?
Thank you very much for that question. In terms of farmer acquisition, that's like one of the easiest components of our business because through interactions with farmer-based organizations, farmers associations, we can literally have access to thousands and thousands of farmers. So we simply organize farmer events, and at a single farmer event, we can get up to 3,000 farmers, engaged with us. So engagement with farmers, it's like the easiest component to our activity. Then in terms of retention, not just retention, but providing services to farmers is usually indicated by the amount of and our ability to provide them with input financing. It's like what we use to unlock the rest of our solutions to them. So as long as we are able to keep providing them the input financing component of our product, we have our farmers continually work with us.
All right, thank you. Do we have another question from the jury? Tayo, floor is yours.
Yeah, sorry if I missed this great presentation, by the way. I'm just curious how you deal with off-takers. If you could just clarify what the value proposition is to the farmers and then how that translates into your business model, how you make your money.
Okay, Kitobo actually follows what we call a market-driven approach to agriculture. We don't just want farmers to produce for producing sake. We want them to produce what has industry demand. So for instance, we have a partner called Afex Commodities Exchange. Afex tells us, this is the kind of maize we need, this is the kind of soybean we need. And then they go ahead and give us a forward contract of say 1,000 tons of maize, of a particular variety of maize. We then take these insights and then we go to our farmers and we say, this is the kind of maize you are supposed to produce. Now, because we already have a forward contract with Afex, everything that the farmer produces, Afex guarantees to buy. So that's how we ensure that whatever they produce has a market at the end of the day.
All right. All right, moving right along. Okay, and now for our last startup. This startup is called Vitruvian Medical Diagnostics. The picture is Iftikhar Sheikh. He's the co-founder and CEO. It's from South Africa. Vitruvian is making healthcare accessible in emerging markets through decentralized, low-cost medical diagnostics, thanks to its custom digital camera that can fit in any microscope. Join me in welcoming Vitruvian Medical Diagnostics.
Hi, I'm Iftikhar Sheikh, co-founder and CEO of Vitruvian Medical Diagnostics, your AI diagnostic assistant. Lack of access to healthcare is a major problem in emerging markets, affecting over 3.5 billion people. Pathology is a key element in healthcare delivery, as for adequate treatment, you first need accurate diagnosis. However, high costs, shortage of trained staff, and poor infrastructure create huge barriers to accessibility. VMD enables the decentralized delivery of pathology services. Our three-step solution allows you to attach our custom low-cost camera onto any microscope, instantly digitizing it. Our capture tool enables you to acquire digital images of slide samples, and our AI-powered analysis engine provides fast and accurate diagnostic assistance. The immense size of the global market and the number of underserved people presents a significant growth opportunity. Emerging markets alone process over 22 billion cases each year, and this will grow with an expanding population. Our business model is based on a simple charge per scan, allowing costs to scale with volume, making our technology affordable to smaller labs. Our AI platform is unique in that it can be scaled across various disciplines. We have proven this as we're currently running pilots in the fields of histology, fertility, and hematology. These projects are backed by strategic partners who are the top labs in their fields. In addition, we've recently achieved a major milestone, obtaining our medical device license in South Africa, allowing us to commercialize. Our revenue assumptions conservatively project growth as we cross regulatory hurdles in different regions. This growth will be driven by fertility, hematology, and histopathology, primarily in sub-Saharan Africa. Our team has extensive experience in artificial intelligence, engineering, and business, and have been working with our medical partners for the past 2 years to develop solutions that are suitable for our markets. COVID has made the benefits of technology more obvious in resource-constrained environments. As such, digital pathology is poised for rapid growth. VMD's traction in development and our key relationships in Africa position us well to capitalize on this growth. To accelerate, we need more partnerships to pilot our products, assist with lowering manufacturing costs, and put distribution in new markets. So join us, and together, let's make accessibility a reality.
All right, thank you. Okay, Dan, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks for the great presentation. My question was, you've identified quite a large opportunity there. How much of that is realistically attainable for your company in the next upcoming few years?
Mute. I think you're on mute. Dan?
Sorry about that. That's
yeah.
me. So sorry. Thanks for that question. So yes, the fact that we focused in pathology and specifically at the moment, vision-based and microscopy actually gives us quite a decent portion of that. When we're looking at our current clients or strategic partners, we'd say that our technology is relevant for at least about 30% of their business. That excludes all of the other hematology-based analysis using cytometers.
All right, thank you. We have time for one more question. Alberto Anton.
Hello, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering, can you explain a bit more about the supply chain of the hardware? Where do you manufacture it? And also later, how do you distribute it and what are the costs of it?
Sure. So we've got partners in China. So we've actually worked here and designing and getting all the design components right. We've got expert partners in China who actually manufacture the electronic components. Those get shipped to us. At the moment, because we're doing small orders, we 3D print all our cases, we assemble everything over here, and then we distribute to the labs that are currently piloting our products. In terms of costs, at the moment, we're looking at delivering it to our clients for about $450 per camera unit. That cost will reduce when we go to scale, and we'd look at scale per camera module of about $200 to $300.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we can't take any more questions, but now we need all the jury members to focus on voting, because after the next fireside chat and interviews that we're going to do, we're going to announce the winner that is going to go to the fast track of the South Summit in October. So please, jury members, let's vote. All right, now we're going to have a conversation with Craig Kensley. Craig is the director of the Coalition of the Committed at the Community Chest. Craig is a sustainable development professional whose passion lies in stakeholder and project management. He has consulted to national and provincial governments on specific economic zone partnerships and has formed part of the national government delegations to trade partners in Southeast Asia and Europe driven by the spirit of his movement, Grozier. Craig has served on the executive boards of the Cape Town Tourism and the Greater Tygerberg Partnership, and currently serves as a board member of the Stellenbosch Academy of Design and Photography. Craig, welcome.
Thanks very much. Hey guys, hey everyone.
Okay, Craig. So Craig, talk to us about your journey. How did you get to where you are today? I mean, you've done some amazing stuff, and I can see that you've been focused primarily on having impact in the stuff that you've done in your professional life. What got you into, trying to do so much for your community?
I mean, as you allude, it's a long story, and I'll make it relatively short. I mean, I was very fortunate to have access to higher education and tertiary education through the fact that my mom worked at a university. I don't know that it would have been as possible without that. And by virtue of that fact, I studied what was my second or third choice. I wanted to be a journalist, and I ended up studying English literature and industrial psychology and so on. But to answer your question, I think more specifically, I ended up at a certain point in my life lecturing at the local university in Cape Town. And I've always loved ideas, but what I found in that environment, in the academic environment, and I say this with a lot of love and due respect, was that what was missing in that environment was the application of the ideas. And often the application of ideas to the benefit of people and of communities. And that's really what's driven me to be able to do the work that I do, to take the ideas that we have and the really smart models and concepts and to mold those in a way which fit into how communities operate and sort of gear them towards the benefit of communities.
Okay. And tell us, I mean, as we can imagine, during COVID, lots of communities around the world, I think every community has been impacted. What can you tell us about the way that COVID has affected your community or the work that you have impact over?
It's made it's brought to light a very simple truth, is that in the South African context, we have a service delivery issue, and the burden then that's been placed on NGOs and community-based organizations there's been this disproportionate reliance on an under-resourced sector. And what that's shown in real terms is the inequity in how funding has flown, as how funding flows on the one hand. On the other hand, the fact that we don't understand what impact looks like in real terms. And that's been very interesting in terms of our business, because we've looked at where the gaps are in terms of the data, how funding flows, how it is unlocked, and what the influences of funding, what they look at and how their scorecards are built, and really where the imbalance is. And that's been a significant opportunity in terms of being able to inform funding cycles and value change in that space.
Craig, a lot of people say that innovation has not really penetrated the nonprofit sector yet as much as it should have. Where do you think innovation is going to come from when it comes to this community building and the nonprofit sector?
I mean, I think it's a really interesting conversation. The nonprofit sector is innovative by design. Show me a sector anywhere in the world that's able to respond and be as resilient as it has been when it is starved of resources. So that's just a starting comment on the one hand. I think where the real resurgence is going to come is through the aggregation of data in the space. So what do I mean? I mean that you have the rise of these super NGOs. You have the rise of these mega CBOs who attract much of the global funding. And I think that there's a very big need and a drive now, and I can talk about one or two things we're doing around that, in terms of the democratizing of those platforms, and actually taking CBOs on the ground who are doing amazing work, articulating their impact in the language that funders understand, so that funding can be spread more equitably and that we are able to get the work done that needs to be done in communities.
Now, before COVID, you may recall that there were several big scandals regarding nonprofits, big nonprofits. And there was this feeling that the nonprofit sector was going to decentralize to an extent. And a lot of people were going to be giving more to local nonprofits and the like. Also because, young people today, they trust less, scale and, big entities and the like. What do you think now post-COVID? Do you think that trend is going to continue? Where do you see the future of, giving, in terms of, do you think it's going to become more, as you said, democratized in the sense very much local, or still the big nonprofits?
I think it's going to be a healthy mix of the two, but what it's driven by, I think in South Africa, we have a very big focus on corruption, and what that allows us to do in the nonprofit space is to build systems around governance, and to say that relative to these governance measures, which we need to make more and more accessible, and we're doing some work with that with a platform called NPGo, for example, where you're able to access that and actually showcase your credibility, show that you are legitimate, let me say that, and then are able to track and report impact. I think what's critically important in that space is the work that's being done by Statistics South Africa around the Sustainable Development Goals and the country report that they issue, but that's at government level. I think commercially there's a very, very significant opportunity around the SDG data and granular development indicators. So again, I'm talking about the aggregation of data. This work is being done. It is not being tracked, and it is not being packaged into one place and presented to funders in a way. So I don't think that there's going to be a natural or organic trend towards democratization. I think there's a very clear need for an aggregator in the space, a transparent aggregator at that.
Okay, last point here, Craig. As we heard earlier, we at IE have a lot of African students, and there are a lot of African students all over the world studying outside of Africa. What advice do you give these students who want to go back to their countries in Africa and actually have an impact, do something different? We're finding in the millennial generation, and to some extent also with Gen Zs, that people are not satisfied anymore with a job that just gives them money, that they want to have an impact with their job. They want something that gives them significance. So if you're giving advice to an African student that's going back to Africa, what advice would you give them in terms of what to look for to make an impact in their communities?
I mean, I'm going to give some really pragmatic advice here, and that's that you have to understand the language of development, one, and often accept the fact that the language of development plays out against a very clear set of scorecards. Once we are able to accept and understand that, only then are we able to influence and shift it. And so I think in as much as we want to do a lot of great work, we come with, often we're very idealistic and passionate coming into the space. Often we lose steam when we have to push up against bureaucracy, when we push up against the scorecards around Section 18A and BE and all of that. And I think my advice to students would be understand the scorecards and actually unpack it in a way which demystifies it, but then that puts us in a space where we are able to influence it and drive it and shape it into the form in which it needs to be.
Craig, it's been a real pleasure having you today. This is an entrepreneurship event. We don't always have people as inspirational as you, really making an impact in the community. But I think after COVID, we're going to see a lot more of this. So thank you very much for making the time today, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and really inspirational presentations that you guys have all shared. Good luck out there.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. All right, moving right along. Now we're going to bring to the floor, well, actually to the virtual floor, obviously, because I'm here by myself. But, this is part of the post-COVID new reality for now. We're going to bring to the virtual floor a couple of past finalists from the South Summit. We're going to start with Peter Venter. He's co-founder of Control Technologies. Software as a service platform that connects insurers, brokers, and consumers in a user-friendly way. Control Technologies was a winner of Virtual South Summit Africa 2020 and a finalist in South Summit 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. The other startup is represented by Mark Mwangi. He is the founder of AmiTruck. AmiTruck is the innovative solution for logistics professionals, enabling massive cost savings, improved efficiency, and digitization to the last mile. AmiTruck was a finalist of Virtual South Summit 2020, Mobility and Logistics. Join me in welcoming Peter and Mark. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, nice to be here.
All right, good. So, Peter, we're going to start with you. I want to talk about your evolution for the last couple of years. Well, couple of years. Actually, you're a finalist in 2020. So what's it been like for the last, say, 12 months in terms of your evolution now during the COVID period?
Yeah, I think we were quite lucky. I think we had a B2C business and we were just getting the B2B side of the business ready when COVID struck. And essentially what we do is we help either traditional brokerages transform the business into a digital broker, or where you've got an existing consumer group, we can give you the software, almost brokerage in a box to start servicing those clients. So the timing for us was just perfect. As we launched the B2B side of the business, COVID struck and the demand for our services increased greatly. But what was interesting though, it was although there was a big demand, the moment we started the implementation, you realize that these companies that you work with are in flux. They're trying to adjust to working to a new way, and so that implementation period took a lot longer, and there was more sort of change behavior work that we had to do with the companies in order to implement. And yeah, so I think there's a sort of two coins to COVID.
All right, thank you, Peter. Mark, what about you guys? How did AmiTruck do?
Yeah, hi. So we had a sort of a mixed bag. I think on one hand, the business was severely disrupted. AmiTruck is in the business of helping companies make their deliveries. We definitely saw the supply chain disruptions, the lockdowns, the border closures, and generally low economic demand, and customers were asking for lower pricing. And then on the other hand, we saw transporters faced with less loads, less backhauls, increased costs, asking for higher pricing. So we had this divergence in the marketplace, and I guess the positive bit in it was the fact that AmiTruck was the sort of a tool that the cargo owners could use to sort of try and bridge the gap and continue fulfilling for their customers. So we benefited from having more discussions with more customers, and we suffered from the lower demand and the lockdown measures.
Okay. All right. Now, I want you to talk to us about, the next 2 years. Now we're almost, post-COVID in the sense that they say that by the summer, things will be opening up big time. A lot of people being vaccinated. What do you see as the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years for your company? Peter?
I think there's two things. I think what COVID did was it helped companies to digitize, but not really to digitalize their businesses. And what I mean by that is just, so a lot of people are just doing what they used to do, but they're just using a digital tool to do that. Whether it's a meeting, you just have it on VC. But there's that next step that companies can take, and that means changing job descriptions if you really want to do things differently. So the next 2 years for us is really working hard with our clients to implement that change management piece with their inside the business, and then we'll branch out to, we're only doing personal lines at the moment. There's a very big opportunity within SME commercial insurance, so we'll move to commercial insurance, and hopefully in 2 years we'll have the next. We would have an international market that we can launch into.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I think for AmiTruck, we'll continue as is. We think we need to establish clear and good traction in our home market, which is Kenya. And then we need to start developing a plan of expanding beyond Kenya into the rest of the continent. and helping customers in the rest of Africa benefit from a digital logistics solution.
All right, final question, gentlemen. A lot of people wonder, what is it like? What are the benefits of going to these big events like South Summit? I'm part of IE, so I'm really not part of South Summit, but I wanted to just get your idea. As a lot of people are watching who have startups now, they're a lot of them are competing in the South Summit. What benefits does it bring to a startup like you guys to actually go to these events, the visibility you get and all that? Talk to us a little bit about, now obviously you guys were right in the middle of the pandemic with South Summit, so I'm not sure to what extent you were able to benefit the most from this, but give us an idea of what you think the benefits are. Peter?
Yeah, it's just the exposure you get. I think, for a small startup to, go out and find all the people that's interested in your solution, and it's not just from the funding side. It's also just general business opportunities. So the exposure is fantastic, and then the ability to go into the global event was fantastic. There was quite a number of discussions that came out of there. Although we haven't progressed one of them into an actual deal, those are connections that we made, and we keep contact. So, the exposure is just fantastic. And what's nice about South Summit is, going into Spain, it's it's a different network that you tap than going into the US. And we really enjoyed the experience with South Summit, and obviously we're proud to show the logo on our presentations.
All right, thank you, Peter. Mark?
Yeah, I think I'll just expand. I agree with everything you said. I think I'll just expand on it. In the exposure to VCs, we have very few local ones, very few African ones. So it's nice to get the global exposure. I think it would be amiss not to mention the practice in terms of presenting in front of a big audience. I think that comes in really, really handy. And finally, just the whole event gives your startup a little more presence and credibility that you otherwise probably wouldn't get. It's definitely another notch on your pitch deck.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. I hope 2021 turns out to be a very profitable year for both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. All right, everyone. Well, that's it. That brings this event to a close. But now, probably the most important part of the event, to announce the winner. Now, if you recall, we had 5 amazing startups presenting today. And I got the luck of having one of my favorite friends here joining us today that she spoke earlier, Sabine, and she is going to announce the winner today. Now, Sabine told you she's head of Africa and the Middle East for IE. Well, let me tell you, if there's one person that travels probably more than me in pre-COVID times, it was Sabine. I mean, I would get calls from her, at any time of the day from Lagos. Then 2 days later, she was in Riyadh. I mean, Sabine works Africa and the Middle East like very few people I know. She really is out there to recruit the students that we have today. And we're very lucky to have so many African students and Middle Eastern students. But in particular, the growth of our African students population at IE has been amazing. So with that, Sabine, do you have the envelope?
I have it here, Paris, and it's been a very, very difficult, I would say, choice, I imagine, between our jury. These have been excellent pitches from all 5 of them. And the winner actually is from West Africa, a country called Ghana. And congratulations to Green Lion.
Yes, Green Lion. We need a few words from Green Lion.
So thank you. It's been an honor to present, and for us it means a lot. So thank you very much, and I hope that we continue and you continue seeing our progress in this retail sector.
Okay, thank you, Jorge. Thank you very much. It's great to see a startup like that having such a big impact on the local communities. So ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're bringing this to an end. This is our 9th South Summit. We have only one more to go. And that's next week, June 3rd at 12 Central European time. And it is on Asia, that continent which is truly amazing. And that from here in Europe, we can't wait, once we can travel again, to make our way back there again. So please join me next week for our 10th and final Virtual South Summit for 2021, Asia, June 3rd at 12 o'clock Central European time. Thank you very much and have a great day.